to the ashes. The spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me or take my advice.
Now, from the Untold Radio Network, it's Untold Radio AM with Doug and Alex Hychak.
Howdy ho.
Hello.
Happy Thanksgiving evening.
Yes.
To not only you, Alex. I'm going to see you tomorrow.
Yep.
For Thanksgiving. Then I get to watch you sleep on the couch a little bit.
Yeah.
Tryptophan.
Yes.
Anyhow, so tonight we have Dr. Kelly Schutz. Is that right?
Schutz.
Schutz?
Yep.
Schutz.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And she's a paranormal researcher, TV, radio personality. She should keep everybody, I think, glued to their
Absolutely.
screen or podcast. I think so. Be a lot of new information. Can you imagine what it would take just to even get a PhD, a doctorate in anything?
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of work.
It is a ton of work.
You know, I couldn't even finish 8th grade. It's enough, let alone going on years.
On and on and on.
Years and years of college. And couldn't do it. Anyhow, so happy Thanksgiving, though, really, to everybody. It's Thanksgiving Eve. It's the 22nd today, right? Of November. It's going so quick this year. It's like, we made flight plans today.
Awesome.
For Legend Meet Science. Going out kind of southeast, I guess. Get a bunch of things done.
That'll be cool.
The junket, 7-day? Yeah, 7-day junket. Yeah, so it'll be kind of cool. So tomorrow, turkey, and I thought, well, you know, if everybody going to eat turkey tomorrow, I bet there's a ton of things people don't know about turkeys. Not that they want to know anything about turkeys, but I think it's appropriate time, right? If you're ever going to do turkey trivia, right? Would now be the time?
Yes.
It would? Yeah.
It would be the time to do the turkey trivia.
Turkey trivia. So that's what we're going to start out with. And then that really was turkey trivia.
Was that my cue?
Jeez, cut me off. Cut me off mid-sentence. Let's see here. Let's see. We're gonna. I've got a little news too. I do want to talk about. Well, let's do the turkey trivia first, if that's okay. And this is fitting because I actually woke up with a sore neck today. I swear, I woke up with a sore neck. I don't ever get a sore neck, and it's all like, you know, like tight in my shoulders and achy, and I'm like, wonder why. Okay, so here we go. So turkeys, wild turkeys, are very athletic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been to a turkey farm where they raise the white domestic turkeys?
No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't? Okay, you haven't had that. I've been in those turkey barns, like at the Land O'Lakes building, like jillions of turkeys. Like it's pretty incredible. Some of the barns. And how many, and if you gobble, they all gobble. But anyhow, they're not very athletic, but the wild turkeys are. How fast do you think a wild turkey can both run and fly, Alex? Take a guess. And our audience.
15 miles an hour?
You think they can run 15 or fly 15?
Run.
Run, okay, all right. That's a good guess. What are some of the other guesses? Yeah, Deborah says 15. Uncle Bones, 33. John's at 35 miles an hour. Bristol's at 30. Okay. They can reach speeds up to 59 miles an hour flying. And they can reach speeds of 20 miles an hour on land.
Wow.
So let's see who was the closest. Everybody's kind of close. 35 miles an hour, JT? No, not that quick. Okay. It says the domestic birds that are destined for supermarket shelves are exactly genetically the same as wild turkey.
Interesting.
Do you ever see wild turkeys? I do, constantly.
I think I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah, we have them living around our house. It's just some nuts. I mean, they're everywhere. And the scientific name is Meleagris gallopavo. That's their scientific name.
Whoa, that's a mouthful.
Yeah. Let's see here. Domestic turkeys all have white feathers. Wild turkeys obviously retain their darker, feathers that offer camouflage and the colors and all that stuff. But let's see here. It says turkeys are complicated, Alex. They're not easy. There's another kind of turkey species that nobody knows about. Lives down in Belize and Guatemala. Doesn't look anything like our turkey, but it looks like a turkey, and it's called the ocellated turkey, and it resides only in the Yucatan Peninsula, small parts of Belize and Guatemala.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
No, I know, of course. And it's actually more colorful than our wild turkey. They're more like iridescent green and stuff. Oh.
Iridescent green. That's a beautiful color.
You're subdued today. Were you snacking on turkey tonight?
I'm already getting ready for it.
Let's see here. The ones down in the Yucatan Peninsula weigh 8 to 11 pounds. Ours are 11 to 24 range. Our wild turkeys.
11 to 24.
But a domesticated turkey, we're going to get to that. They're actually quite big. In fact, the domesticated turkeys we have now are twice as big as they were back in the 30s when we first started raising them through, genetics.
Yeah.
So now they're average, I think, 25 pounds. 29 pounds, they average. All right, what's the difference between a female turkey poop and a male turkey poop? And that's one way you can tell them apart by their poop.
That's kind of weird.
That's a weird question, but there's a difference. I actually learned this years ago, turkey hunting with Ron Shera.
One is thicker.
Now, one always comes out in a kind of a J. The males comes out like a J.
Really?
J-poop. Yeah.
Why is that?
I don't know. Maybe they're a little turkey butthole. I don't know. It's like a spritz cookie maker.
So this is
It's extruded in like a
secrets of the trade.
Anyhow, but that's one way that you can tell them apart.
That's
and okay, what ones gobble, the males or the females? Answer quick. It's only two choices.
Males.
Males, yes. The males are the only ones that gobble. Females only purr.
They purr.
They purr.
Really? They purr?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, they make clucks, purrs,
yeah,
little yelps and things, but generally they purr.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll have to pay attention to that.
Yeah. Okay. See, do you know what a snood is? A snood. Snood. I mean, that snood, whatever way you want to pronounce
snood.
it. What's the snood?
Yeah, it's the neck of a turkey.
No, put that picture up. Put the picture up.
All right.
The turkey picture. It's that thing hanging down their nose.
All that weird.
Yeah, just down their nose. That piece of skin, that's their snood. And of course, females like longer snoods.
Yeah, they like them long.
They like them. Yeah, that's true. They're attracted to the male turkeys with their snoods.
The bigger the snood, the better.
Huh? So what's all that other crap called? I call it the dewlap. All that red stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Anyhow. So it says both male and female turkeys have snoods, And that's that red droopy thing that covers their beak. But there's evidence that a well-developed snood is actually a sign of increased resistance to disease and bacteria. So if your snood is
Interesting.
good, then you're not going to get it sick.
Mm.
And the male snood actually fills with blood and becomes a little bit, bigger.
What?
And during mating season, and females choose the long-snooded males as mates.
Wow, imagine if we had a snood on
So
our
you can
face.
go to the bar tonight and say, "You want to see my snood?" And you can
Probably
show
get
'em-
arrested.
Pick out you pull out a picture of the turkey. You show them the snood.
Okay. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, of course. So did you know turkeys once faced extinction right here in North America?
No.
Yeah, there were-
really?
Yeah, when I was a kid, there were no turkeys.
There
There were a
wasn't?
few in South Dakota and I think some parts of Colorado. And other than that, they just didn't exist. It says wild turkeys were such a popular target of hunters that at one point the population shrunk to 200,000 birds.
200.
Now we have 2 million.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
Change.
so there was basically, no, we have 10 million now. It was 2% of its original size.
Wow.
See, I'm like Cliffy on Cheers. I kind of know this stuff a little bit,
Yeah.
but if you Google me, you'll catch me being a little bit wrong. I'll
just
say,
a,
look,
just a little bit.
yeah, just a little bit off.
Not a
Close
ton. Yeah. In the ballpark.
in the ballpark. So anyhow, there are 10 million, and we've probably got thousands just in my city here. So the California turkey went extinct 10,000 to 12,000 years ago completely. It says likely due to climate change.
Climate change.
Yeah, of course, there was so much industry 10,000 years ago, cars and so on. So
Yeah.
anyhow, so that's a fact. That's what it says. Turkeys hear better or worse than humans?
Worse.
Worse?
Yeah.
Better.
Oh, really?
Yes, and close. John Branachuk was right. It was Ben Franklin's choice. He was actually kind of disgusted that they picked the American eagle for the national bird.
Really?
He was more in favor of the turkey. Yeah,
That would have been cool.
you didn't know that. A lot of people
No.
don't. But yeah, he was kind of disgusted with the bald eagle for some reason. He just did not like it. Thank God the snooty things were not our. Can you imagine that thing as our symbol? The turkey with the dewlap. No. Let's see here. So they hear better than humans.
Mm-hmm.
So they hear about as good as dogs, elephant, bats, and owls. But you don't ever think of a turkey like, oh my God, they hear so good. But look at their little ear. See it?
Yeah.
The ear
It's tiny.
next to the snood. It's a snooty ear.
Ugh. So weird looking.
Yeah, they are. You can get rid of that. Nasty. We're gonna put one. We're gonna put one more up. So turkeys in like the 20s and 30s, early 30s, were bred for what? They were not bred for meat.
They were not bred for
No,
meat.
not at all. No, they just threw the meat away. Think about that. They didn't eat dang turkeys back then. They bred them for their feathers. That's all they wanted was their feathers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But what? They didn't eat them? That was just a
No.
bonus?
No, they just flipped them over their back like that. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But no, they didn't breed them to eat them. They bred them for their feathers.
The feathers.
That was where the big money was. So and then in 1935 they started breeding them to eat them, I guess. So anyhow. So how many feathers is on a turkey? First guess.
7,000.
6,000, you cheater. You
Cheater.
cheated. You're only 1,000 off. There's 5,000 to 6,000
I mean,
feathers on a turkey.
I figure between 5 to 10.
That was pretty close. I figure you got that turkey trivia right in front of you right now. Do you? Do you?
No.
Turkeys started, they came into existence about 10 million years ago, and they actually walked amongst mammoths, flew over the mammoth.
Interesting.
I'm just trying to get some reaction on it. All but 12 states have turkeys.
All but 12.
Yeah, and I have all 12 of those states memorized, but I will not bore you with them.
What are they?
I don't know. I've just made that up. No, there are only 12 states, but I don't know which ones. I would imagine it's the dry ones.
Yeah.
I
The
mean,
dry ones.
Yeah, like Texas.
You think Texas doesn't have any?
I kind of doubt Hawaii's got them. I mean, I could probably come up with all 12.
Yeah.
So, a turkey's beard, put up a photo too of the turkey. We're going to talk about the beard. See that thing in the chest, right on the chest?
Yeah.
That's called a beard. What do you think that's made out of?
Meat?
The beard is made out of meat. Okay, yeah. Next. Anybody else want to venture to get?
Wait. What are we talking about? Are we talking about
that
this
thing? Yes.
Oh, I thought we were talking about this weird. I thought this was called
That's
the
the
beard.
dewlap. That's the, you know what? The dewlap.
Yeah, it looks like
Those are the
something
things
else.
I hope to God they do not put in our sausages.
Oh,
Are the
they
dewlaps
probably do. That's what,
and the
that's
hot
when you eat up.
dogs?
That's a ballpark
Chicken.
prank.
People go, would you like a chicken hot dog or a turkey hot dog? I always go, are you kidding? You're going to, that's full of dewlaps. I'm like, not eating that. No, I'm sure it's not, but I'm just joking. But that's what goes through my brain. Okay. So that beard, what do you think it's made out of? I mean, it can only be made out of, it's not made out of gold, Alex. It can only be made out of what? Hair or feathers?
What is it, like keratin?
It's just feathers.
Just feathers?
I don't know what feathers are made out of. They're made out of feathers.
Feathers.
Yeah, Charlotte says keratin. But it's basically a modified feather.
Yeah.
And they grow 3 to 5 inches a year, those dang beards.
That's so, I didn't know they had beards.
Yeah, that's the beard. That's what turkey hunters always keep, the beard as their like trophy.
It's like a chest beard.
The beard, yeah, it is a chest beard. I mean, they're a weird animal. Look at that.
I know.
It's just like, who thinks of this?
Now I don't want to eat one tomorrow. You kind of ruined it.
Well,
Kind
I
of
hope
gross.
No.
They look so
It's good to be in touch with your food.
Yeah, I know.
So can store turkey, the ones we buy in the store, could they fly? Yes or no?
No,
No, they can't. You're right. They can't fly.
they've been domesticated.
Yep. You know why? Their breast is too heavy. They can't get off the ground. We've bred them with big breasts.
Yeah.
You have a big snood, they have a big breast. And they're just too heavy.
What kind of show is this?
What?
What kind of show are we having?
I don't know.
Talking about snuds
I don't
and
know.
breasts?
Yeah, obviously John goes, yeah, they're dead. That's why they can't fly. That's a good one, John. Oh my God. Hey, Jeff. I see we got Jeff, we got Nixon, we got Ristall, oh, by the way, John Ayers is our new moderator for the Untold Radio Network.
Yep. We
If
just
he
gave him a
want-
badge.
He's getting a badge.
Yep.
So watch out for John. Big
Yep.
bad John.
Make sure you don't disagree with him. You'll disappear.
Yeah, exactly. He has that power, by the way. And it's totally up to him. You're
Yep.
giving him full control. Okay. But anyhow, they're unnaturally large breasts is why they can't fly.
Mm.
How many millions of pounds or millions of turkeys do we eat at each Thanksgiving? How many birds do we eat at Thanksgiving every year? The U.S.
I don't know, millions?
Yeah. Pick a number, Alex. There's no prize.
250 million.
We eat 250 million. Okay. 50 million. Turkeys bite the dust each year.
Really? Oh, man.
So how much turkey does the average American eat every year? How many dewlaps how many pounds of turkey does the average American eat?
2.5.
104.9 pounds of turkey each year. Each person in chat eats.
Oh, okay. I'm so stupid. I thought you meant like at Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, no.
When you
No,
said
I meant
100
per
pounds,
year.
I was like, whoa.
Okay, per year. That's a lot. That's scary. 104 pounds of turkey each year. I see how it says 104.9. That 0.9 is the dewlaps. I just know it.
Oh, yeah.
The snoods. Someone's just cutting snoods off. I just put them in the. I'm joking. It's a joke. I don't think so. I'm sure those don't make it anywhere, do they?
No.
The snoods. Okay. How many turkeys were produced in the U.S. last year? In the millions. How many million were produced? Remember, we eat 50 million just for Thanksgiving alone. So that should be part of a clue. So how many turkeys are grown each year in the U.S.?
200 million.
Good guess. 229 million. That's a damn good guess.
We must export them.
Yeah, I mean, heck, we only have 330 million people in the U.S. That's it.
That's it.
So the world record for nobody cares about this, but it's still weird. Who's got the world record for the fastest turkey carving? What I meant to say. How quick can the world's fastest turkey carver carve a turkey? He's in the World Book of Records.
Carve a whole turkey in 30 seconds. He
carves a whole turkey in X amount of time.
30 seconds.
3 minutes and 19.47 seconds.
Oh, that's slow. Come on, 30 seconds.
And his name is Paul Kelly. He's from the UK, and he's in the Guinness Records.
I could beat that.
And who cares? We got to get Paul on the show, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be dying to come on.
That's it. That's my dumb
We'll do it live.
Dumb turkey trivia.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. All right, we'll go to little news, just a little bit. A couple of things I want to talk about. There was a really cool video taken of a big cat sighting that happened in Arizona. It's video 1. I sent it to you. And that kind of tops. I mean, obviously it's real. They had a lot of wildlife people weigh in. And you know what I thought was so funny? The wildlife people weigh in on it. And they go, just hang on, don't play it quite yet.
I won't.
And they go, we don't know what it is. It's not a jaguar, right? Which are native to Arizona. It's not this. It's not that. It's not a cougar. So they just said it's not anything. But we know it's a big cat. Go ahead and play it.
And thanks for joining us for 12 News at 4. I'm Tram Mai. A viral video right here showing an unidentified animal in the Phoenix Mountain Preserve has a lot of people guessing, what could that be? 12 News journalist William Pitts shows us even the experts are guessing.
Admittedly, the video is not that great. You're looking at that little black spot in the middle. Wait for it to move.
Whoa.
It slinks over some rocks. The original
Just wait.
poster said
You
this
can
was
tell
a
it's a
Phoenix
big
Mountain
cat.
Preserve near Cave Creek Road in Peoria. They had one question. What is this thing? Comments on Reddit went from house cat to jaguar to chupacabra to, well, of course, it went to aliens eventually. We showed the video to a team from Arizona Game and Fish and Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center.
That's pretty far. It looks pretty far away.
I don't think it's a domestic cat, but I
You don't think it's a cat?
Not a domestic cat.
They were just as baffled as everyone else. In the end, it was easier to figure out what this thing is not.
It's clearly not a mountain lion or a bobcat. We have ocelots, rarely. It's not an ocelot. They're a spotted cat. And then bobcats, which are spotted.
It's probably not a bear, not with a tail like that. Jaguars, we've only ever seen a handful of them over 30 years, and all of them are down by the Mexican border.
You know it's black, right?
So not anything local.
Yeah.
That says he's a
Most
big black
likely
unknown
an animal
cats.
that was in captivity that escaped.
Jim DeVos with Game and Fish is guessing it's an exotic animal, something brought into the valley illegally that either got out or was abandoned. Maybe a black cougar, black panther, who knows?
The
Game and
denial
Fish
kills
is not
me.
going after it.
I think until we see some type of unacceptable behavior, a close encounter with a human, an aggressive encounter
Oh,
with a
eat
human,
someone.
then it's out
I
there.
love just Steve. He
and
goes,
chances
"It's a
of us
beaver."
being able to go out and find
I
that
love it.
particular animal
That's a
again,
good one.
unless it's
The
constantly
flies on
getting
that
into
guy's
trouble,
face.
is very, very
He's got
slick.
flies
So
on
whatever
his
this
face.
thing is,
Yeah,
it's
I want to see. Back it up. I don't
Oh,
see
you
it.
can see him. It's like all over his
Out
face.
there,
All right,
and
it's
the
right
chances
there
of
on
us
his
being
by his
able to go
mouth.
out and
Are you
find
sure
that
that's not a
particular
mole?
Oh, no,
Oh, no,
no.
it took off.
unless it's
It's on its
That's a
constantly
mole.
getting into
It's a
trouble,
flying mole.
It's very, very slick.
So whatever this thing is, it's still out
Anyhow,
there.
I think
It's
Steve's
still-
right. I'm sure it's a beaver.
Yeah.
It's got to be a beaver. By the way, Loretta said she was attacked or chased by turkeys, and they do attack humans. That was part of my trivia, but I just said, this isn't getting any reaction out of Alex. So we're just going to nix this turkey thing. So
Where'd you go?
I'm here. Still here. Still here. And Charlotte just said, maybe it's, well, nah, the tail's too long. Wolverines have little tiny tails. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? A Dodge has just come out with a kind of a muscle electric car. Play video too, and here's what's interesting. They added a wind blower that blows air out of the exhaust and makes sound. It's like Blaine was over today, your brother,
Yeah.
and he's got that's Tesla. And he backs out and it sounds like a spaceship backing out. I want to hear this. But it's just so silly. The whole thing is silly. It's a cool looking car, actually.
Very cool.
Kind of looks like a Challenger.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cross between a Challenger and an old AMX Javelin. I don't know. It's got a bunch of cues. I like the body. I like it a lot.
It's very slick.
Yeah, but no thanks. Anyhow,
No thanks.
no thanks. I like my gas.
Yeah.
See, I'm even reverting back to two strokes. Smoke, the blue smoke.
Yeah.
The smokier, the better.
Smoky Bandit.
Yeah, you ever seen a two-stroke motorcycle? Well, back in my day, they all smoked. They were all two strokes. And they smoked. I mean, there's a lot of blue clouds, but the smell is good. It's a good smoke. It smells good. It's not like car exhaust. Anyhow, so that's what I'm working on, restoring a two-stroke right now.
Beautiful.
All right, let's go to my clips, and then we're going to bring on Kelly, right?
Yeah, she's in the back room. I can't wait
good.
to have
Hi,
her on.
Kelly. We're going to have you on in just a bit. She's got to suffer through my clips.
She's ready.
All right, she's ready. So, clip one, no sound needed. This guy kind of narrates. There's some goofy music in the back, but this is just so typical. These TikTok videos are coming out so quick, and Reddit videos, and there's never any context. It's just, oh, here's the best video ever taken. And they're always shaky bad, and there's no context, and usually you get a glimmer of something walking away that, say, of course, the person pans downwards and as it walks away.
It's so
Any of these could be real. I'm not
yeah.
saying they're not. I'm just saying, wouldn't you think if you're going to get a Bigfoot video, you're going to contact somebody that's going to be able to, vet it properly and get it out to the proper channels, and, so it just doesn't end up being some
thing on social media.
thing on social media. It's just not the way to go. So that's like 3 red flags almost right there. Put it on TikTok.
Yeah, so we don't know the guy who shot.
But what I
this.
did like about this, I'll tell you the one thing I did like. Okay, just as it walks away, I see what looks like the back of an ear. So that kind of struck me as interesting. Do Bigfoot costumes have rubber ears on them? Probably some. But I just thought it was interesting. I also found the color a little interesting, kind of that chocolate brown. It's a little more rare in a Bigfoot suit.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty real, but
Yeah, with
where's the guy who shot it?
The hair doesn't look real.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, who shot it? Where did he shoot it? What was he doing?
Yeah, there's never any hardly. That one was shot in Utah, I believe, but there's generally no context. Okay, moving on. Clip 2, sound is good, and just definitely say no to this. This has got to be the most spectacular squirrel suit video I've ever seen.
And
someone
is this Blaine?
Yeah, do not do this.
This
do
is
not
Blaine.
have somebody talk you into learning this. This is not a good thing. This is not meant for humans. Go ahead.
2, 1, see ya.
Oh my.
Just wait.
I think I know my new sport.
I mean, just one little breeze and you're slamming into a wall at 100 miles an hour. Goes right through that peak. And yes, this is real footage. These people are certainly highly trained, but God.
How do you get practice with this? I mean, one
Have you
mistake.
met an old guy that used to be a squirrel suit pilot? Hell no. There's no old squirrel suit people around. And the guy following him is just as bad. He opened his chute a little earlier. But
Yeah.
oh my God.
What a wuss. Oh my gosh.
Isn't that insane though? Ugh, okay.
No, thank you.
That's squirrel suit insanity. Clip 3. This is interesting. This is another one of these mycelium communication translators, But I'd like to play with one of these because I have a feeling you could put the electrodes on 2 rocks and get something. I don't know. I'm skeptical, but go ahead and play it.
So it looks like these 2 guys are connected. These guys also connected. You show the
So the next thing they're going to tell us, mushrooms have language.
does this appear as I connect them? And then all the way over here too.
All right. Can you get one of those from me, Alex?
Yeah.
Here.
Let's do it.
Let's get the guy in the show for even a quick guest. Have him demo his thing. I'll have him put him on touch 2 rocks. See what happens.
That'd be awesome.
Can you do that? See if we can get a hold of a guy like that.
I'll see if I can.
Yeah, we'll get him on. I'm just skeptical. We'll have him prove it. Maybe they really are communicating. I know they communicate, but maybe there's a way to actually get sound out of it. Clip 4, the sound is fine. This is the biggest damn worm I've ever seen.
La riqueza de este sector
Nightcrawler.
de la Amazonía. Está saliendo del suelo, está cruzando el cemento para seguir. La razón está encima del suelo es porque está lloviendo y el suelo
Was that
está
a new fear
saturado.
unlocked, Alex?
Entonces no quiere estar adentro del agua. Entonces
Oh my
salió.
gosh, if I saw that outside my house.
Entonces, puede darle una idea
Okay,
del
but just
tamaño.
wait. Okay, now
Este
go to
camino
clip
es
4A.
1.20
Clip 4A. You think that's big? There are, just so you know, there are earthworms that get up to 21 foot. Picture an earthworm 21 foot long. Seldom talked about. This is an earthworm in Australia that probably hits that 21 foot.
Oh
This
my
is a
gosh.
giant lawnworm. They eat
What?
away the roots of the plant. Look at that.
What?
It's insane. That's one of the biggest. Oh my God. Anyway, we've pulled this out now. The lawn should recover pretty well. Good luck.
It's eating the guy's lawn.
That is
But like in
ridiculous.
South Africa, 21 foot earthworms are not uncommon. Australia has huge ones too. Australia, the average of those worms is 10 feet length in Australia. 10 foot.
10 feet.
Yeah. In Australia. That's the average length.
Jesus.
But picture a 21 footer.
No, thank you.
Picture a 21 footer in your house. Picture going fishing with a 21 footer. You get some big sunfish.
No.
Okay, there. So you've played that. Okay, clip 5. Sound is good. There's just a lot of innuendo in this. I just thought it was funny for Thanksgiving. It just kind of was funny. But there's just play it. It's just innuendo.
Indiana are trying to honor Harry Balls, but they're running into some stiff
That's the guy's name.
Opposition, in fact. Now, Balls is the former mayor of Fort Wayne, but the uncomfortable, perhaps even amusing ring of his name has local politicians uncomfortable with naming a building after Harry Balls. But it's head and shoulders ahead in an internet vote, so his great-great-nephew thinks the name should hang on the side of the building.
Okay, that's enough of that
Well, I
crap.
think it's kind of funny. I also think this is the name the people have voted for.
That's enough. All right. Clip 6. Did you watch the Jetsons when you were young?
Yeah.
You remember them?
Yeah.
So this is I never thought about this, but think about it. They never showed something in the Jetsons. Go ahead and play this clip. The sound is good.
There's something that's been gnawing at me about the Jetsons. Something deeply disturbing. Even if you didn't grow up watching this show, you probably understand that the Jetsons is a sitcom based in the future, basically the mirror image of the Flintstones. But there's one question that is never answered throughout the entire series. One dark reality that just hangs there and is never discussed. I need to know what happened. I need to know what unimaginable catastrophe caused humanity to have to take refuge in the sky. I need to know why.
His point is he never ever
nuclear war,
and they never showed the ground in the Jetsons.
That
Why?
is so
This is now just
weird.
uninhabitable. I need to know if people still dwell on the land, or is all of life lost? And these are just the last people who are now just taking refuge in mindless consumerism.
There you go.
Well, the planet below.
All right, that's enough of that crap.
It gets darker and darker.
Huh?
He just keeps getting darker with it.
Oh yeah. He goes down a dark road with it. Okay, clip 6. Sound is good. This is the reason why you do not get a giant turtle as a pet. This one happens to be from Africa. You can buy these at all these pet places. This is why you do not want one. Go ahead and play it.
Oh, okay, hold on. Hold on. That's not gonna go well. Let's move your ball. Hold on, we gotta move your ball because you're gonna knock over the table. Okay, don't come after me, please. Here.
Look at that armor in the front.
Go get it over there. Watch the table! Table!
Oh my God, it's like a tank.
I know.
That damn thing is fast. It's it'd be like a little bulldozer, a little bulldozer pet. So it's some kind of African turtle. All right, clip 7. Sound is good. So let's think about, before you play this, I want you to think this James Webb telescope. It's pretty amazing. I mean, they're looking at things and telling us what's on that planet. If there's life from 124 light years away, think about how far that is.
That's incredible.
And they can tell whether there's life on that planet. Let's go ahead and play this. It's really
On
weird.
signs of life and intelligence on a planet outside our solar system. The planet is called K218b, and it's about 2.6 times the size of Earth, and it orbits a red dwarf star about 124 light years away from us. But what makes this planet so special is that it has water and a hydrogen-rich atmosphere, which could support life, and not just any life, but possibly complex and diverse life forms that could rival those on Earth. How do we know that? Well, thanks to the James Webb Space Telescope that has detected carbon-bearing molecules such as methane and carbon dioxide, which are produced by biological processes on Earth, and possibly dimethyl sulfide, which is only produced by life on Earth. But that's not all. Webb also found nitrogen dioxide and chlorofluorocarbons, which are produced by human activities on Earth. These are called technosignatures, and they indicate the presence or activity of intelligent civilizations on a planet. This is a groundbreaking discovery that could change our understanding of ourselves and our place in the universe.
Whoa.
Techno signature. Remember they banned fluorocarbons here?
Yeah.
Well, they have fluorocarbons. So apparently they're using hairspray and pit spray.
They're styling their hair.
They have pit spray. They're spraying their underarms. They know that from 124, light years away.
Yes.
That's crazy to me. But, I buy into it. Totally buy into it. All right. Clip 8. We're almost done, Kelly. Clip 8. Sound is good. Now just focus on this elk's nose. That's a lot of people probably want to hear for the elk bugling. That's not what I'm pointing out. Look at the nose. It looks like a damn animal, like another animal. So play it and look at this. Just focus on the nose. It looks like an otter or some damn thing. Thing's alive.
That's creepy.
It's got little brow ridges and little eyeballs. Do you agree? That looks like a damn animal?
Yeah, it looks like
I never thought about that before. Anyhow, a little strange.
Love it.
I didn't get much sleep. That's why you're getting weird clips. I worked till 5 a.m, got up at 8. It's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
I was so tired, my joints ached when I got up. Drink coffee, I feel good to go again. It's good to go. Been up ever since. Okay, let's see here. Clip 9, sound is good. But did you ever hear, don't play it yet, did you ever hear of hypnagogia? Hypnagogia. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, is it like a sleeping thing?
It is. Or hypnagogia. Yeah,
So you see weird things.
I'll pronounce it eventually correctly. Yeah. Hypnagogia. That is a state of when you first fall asleep. But go ahead and watch this, because watching this one video could make you rich and famous. Just this one clip could make everybody rich and famous.
Exactly what I need.
Yep, go ahead.
Edison was one of the greatest inventors of all time, and over the course of his life, he obtained over 1,000 patents for things that we all use today, from the light bulb to the video camera to the phonograph to the telephone transmitter, the list goes on. But how did he come up with all of these ideas? Well, he actually induced hallucinations. We have this state of sleep called hypnagogia, which is the period between being awake and being asleep. And during this time, it's really common for someone to experience audio, visual, or other types of hallucinations. Edison would nap up to 3 times per day, and he would use hypnagogia as his endless source of idea generation. And you can too. All you need is 4 things: a chair, a journal, some coins, and something for the coins to fall into. When you go in for your nap, think about the problem that you want to solve or the project that you're working on. Hold the coins out in your hand, and as you start to fall asleep, your muscles will relax, the coins will fall out, hopefully waking you up. And when you do wake up, immediately write down anything that came into your mind as you were falling asleep. And you, my friend, might just be the next Thomas Edison.
Beautiful. I love it.
So I want to do that to you tomorrow.
After 8 turkey.
I'm going to give you coins. I'm going to give you a pot. I'm serious. Let's see how long you can hold those coins.
All right.
Let's see if we can come up with an invention. I think I use that technique and all the things that I've come up with.
Yeah.
And I think I use it, but what I do is just get extremely tired, because that's usually when I come up with these ideas.
You're really
when I'm
tired.
really tired, yeah. I've thought about that.
Sense. That's similar, yeah.
It's kind of similar, yeah. It has to do with the sleep realm, like I'm sleeping while I'm working.
Yeah.
Because that will happen. I'll be working on something, all of a sudden I'll just like I'll look at the clock, and like 2 hours have gone by. I'm like, what? It's like missing time. But yet I got a bunch of work done. It's weird. I don't know. Clip 10, last clip. Sound is good. This is what happens when your new flying car is going to conk out, which they will. And yes, there will be flying cars in our lifetime, probably within the next 5 years. We are going to see flying cars in the air like this. I mean, it's just going to happen. It's going to be the next big thing. But this is what's going to happen when your car runs out of battery or conks out. Go ahead. Oh, gee.
Oh no.
Kind it coming down pretty quick there. Watch how they just cut the part out when it hits the ground. They cut it out. Cut right to that. Anyhow, so that's what we're all going to be dealing with.
Oh, dear.
Alex will be putting to work in his Toyota space car, right? And all of a sudden, pop.
Pop. There it goes.
Yep, there it goes. All right. Let's take our quick break, and then we're going to bring Dr. Kelly Schutz on.
Awesome.
All right.
Hangar One Publishing. Books that explore the unknown.
They're after my story.
Legends leap off the pages of our books.
You think you're the only one? They're under my heels too.
From UFOs to cryptids, Bigfoot and beyond.
Who's behind all this?
Hangar One Publishing, where every legend is revealed.
It's Hangar One Publishing. They're unraveling all of our mysteries.
Dive in, real videos, sights and sounds with our immersive book technology.
I guess our secrets are out now. But in the best possible way.
From Bigfoot tracks to galactic trails, we cover it all.
We should get out of here before it's too late. You're right, let's plan.
Escaping reality? Dive into ours. Hangar One Publishing, revealing the universe's best-kept secrets, one book at a time.
Hello once again to everybody out there in Untold Radio Land. This is Brendan Brown, host of the fastest 30 minutes in the cryptid world, This Week in Bigfoot. Here's what we got coming up in this Sunday show. This week we take a look at the wildfires currently burning throughout the southeast and the threats they pose to the area's Bigfoot population as we head into the winter months. Mike Lucci heads into the jungle to investigate feral creatures caught on film. Stillwalker Prime's at it again with a brand new 2 minutes with, and we get an update from the boss himself, Doug Highcheck, on the Legend Meets Science 2 production. These stories and a whole lot more this Sunday night at 6:15, so you better have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the next This Week in Bigfoot, only on CARC Universal. You better be there.
Show your support for the Untold Radio Network family of shows and join in on the conversation by using super stickers and super chats on YouTube. Got a question you want answered? Ask it live via a super chat and get real-time responses from our shows, knowledgeable hosts, and guests. Help keep the Untold Radio Network shows running strong. We need your support. Send your super chats and stickers now.
Hey Untold Radio Network fans, want exclusive perks and to support our channel? Introducing our YouTube membership program with 3 amazing levels. Get loyalty badges that level up to different cryptids the longer you're a supporter. How cool is that? You'll also get access to custom Bigfoot emojis and priority in chat. Upgrade to Backstage Pass for exclusive wallpapers, photos, status updates, discounted books, and merchandise. Go all in with the producer level for everything mentioned plus member shoutouts. Ready for an enhanced experience? Join now, pick your membership level, and let's make this journey even more exciting together.
Hey. During that commercial break, I took a call from somebody I pay. I pay for them, but they forgot the password for Netflix.
Oh, no.
So I gave it to them. That's what I did during the break.
Beautiful. And now we're about to have our main guest on. I'm excited.
Yes, we've got Dr. Kelly Schutz, and let me read a little bit about her, and she can talk about herself. So, it says Dr. Kelly Schutz has sensed, I should have had some water, hold on here, unexplained paranormal extraterrestrial phenomena since the age of 9, with her abilities beginning around age 3 or 4. That's pretty young.
Yeah.
I had some weird things happen at about probably 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So I was developing something at 4 or 5 because I was like leaving my body and have to this day clear memories of everything that happened. So yeah, I buy into that.
Yeah. Yeah. I buy into it too.
So it says she's known as an experiencer and a citizen researcher. To date, she has encountered 100 plus paranormal and 3 to 4 perceived extraterrestrial visitations with what appears to be no end in sight. Okay. She holds 5 advanced degrees. She is the author of 11 paranormal books.
That's incredible.
We need to talk to her. She's got also 2 haunted cookbooks.
Very
CD
cool.
audiobooks. Dr. Schutz is also featured in Paranormally magazine, Haunted magazine, and on the cover feature of Paranormal Underground magazine.
Very cool.
In the January 2023 issue. She has been involved in forensic psychics, right? Working on obviously missing persons, true crime, and so on. She's also done apparently high-profile murder cases. She's done treasure hunting. All sorts of stuff. Clinical hypnotherapist, prolific authors, blah, blah, blah. She's done all sorts of stuff for other people, obviously. So, and she's had near-death experiences and has experienced UFOs. And she's also a former college professor, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's done litigation, paralegal stuff, blah, 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 undercover investigations. She remains a lifelong citizen researcher, contributor, and learner of life, just like you, Alex.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Love it.
Without further ado, I'm going to have some more water because I didn't get any sleep last night. So I can talk and bring Kelly on.
Hello.
There you are. Hi.
Hi. How am I supposed to follow you, Doug, after, snoods and beards and ruining my Thanksgiving for worms?
Oh, no.
Thank you for the weight loss tip.
Oh, yeah. There you go. That's one way to look at it.
I can't even look at my turkey tomorrow after what I just saw. My eyes.
Nowhere in your bio did it say you were a comedian, but I'd say you're pretty good. Pretty good.
I'm pretty sarcastic. So.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to be. I am too. But yeah, I just hit me. Maybe I ruined people's Thanksgivings with my snoods and dewlaps.
They'll thank you when they don't put on
Just
5 pounds.
Just eat the breast meat. That's it.
I can't look at a breast again after all of that. I'm so sorry. I mean, okay.
All right.
Here I am.
All right. Let's just get right into this paranormal stuff. What are some things, Kelly, that people don't understand about the paranormal? Because there's a ton of people out there that literally have never had any experiences with it. They don't understand it. Doesn't necessarily they don't believe it, but what is it that we're all missing about it? What's some insight?
Well, I wouldn't say we're all missing about it. I think it all comes down to what your ultimate beliefs are, whether you're right and left brain. And I'm going to kind of expand on this a little bit here. So say you're really logical and you think at things very, logically and all that, and you have an experience and something's trying to get your attention. Right away, you're going to, and this is where my law background comes in, you start picking it apart and going, trying to figure out what could have caused whatever you experienced. Okay. That's a very logical minded person. Now, I'm a creative and a logical minded person, but one of the things I think people struggle with sometimes is when they have an experience with something, they right away want to categorize it in a way that makes sense for them. And so when they're trying to make sense out of it, some people will go, oh my goodness, that was an experience. That was something. Other people say that was an experience. That was nothing. So I think the most confusing part here for people is, what category do you want to put it in once you have an unusual, unexplained experience?
And don't you think don't you think almost everybody's had some paranormal experience, but they just forget about it, put it in their gray basket and just ignore it and literally forget about it?
Well, people are busy. They have lots of things going on. And probably the last thing they're going to do is sit there and take a moment and go, oh my goodness, what just happened to me? Now, if some people have not enough time on their hands and they want to go down that route of wondering what everything is once it falls in front of them, I suppose you could say that maybe that's a small percentage of the population, but most people are busy. They've got enough on their plate. They're not going to sit. Now, it's got to be profound enough, though, in order for someone to really sit up and take notice. It's got to be really profound if someone who's logical minded is going to actually question it. And so, but I don't like the other half of the scenario where someone says right off the bat, that's paranormal, when there's probably a better reason or something that occurred that's a better reason for what just happened. So I don't know. People are busy. That's really the short and skinny of it all.
What's probably the most common paranormal experience that people have? In my amateur studies of the paranormal, mainly consists of just asking people, have you ever had a paranormal experience? Most people come back to me with missing time. On my end. That's
on your end?
That's in Minnesota.
Yeah. Missing time. Well, I can agree to a little bit about that, because I agree with what you had said in the beginning when you were talking about how you could just kind of sit there and all of a sudden 2 hours go by, but you actually got work done, but you don't know how the work got done. Yeah. I have been down that road many times. I don't know. I think that, and I interview an awful lot of people too. Okay. And so when I ask them, what have you experienced? What have you gone through? I get different responses all over the map. Some people have experiences in church. Okay. So that's for, if you want to go down that route, there are experiences in church. Some people have just experiences in their own homes and they can't explain things that happen there. For myself, if I were to say, what are the most common experiences? I can't say that I have a one common experience. And I will tell you why. Because every time I think I have it figured out, something else happens. And then it makes me question what just happened. And it takes me down a different angle or a different way of thinking. So I don't think there's any one common experience, but I'm going to throw this in as a but for you. If you were to ask me, in certain environmental places, what's the most common experience a person might have? I'm going to mention, and I'm not going to mention the name, but if we're going to talk, like, say, a place where there's a large gathering and there's a lot of what I call human battery, and let's just throw out some of the biggest fairs in the country. One of the most common things I hear, because oftentimes when I interview people and they like going to some of these big events or these big fairs, they often question whether or not they actually saw something from the past. In other words, something in unusual clothing, something in something that's not timely, something where they talked with somebody that asked them a very bizarre question that doesn't seem to fit our present time. So I think it really just depends on where you are, who you're talking with, and what the history is of that location or locations to be able to answer that question with a common experience.
So would you say there's like places of energy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's not only just places of energy, I also think there's places where there's portals. I also think there's places where some things that historically happened that are very significant have a tendency to reignite themselves and come alive during certain periods of time. If you were to ask somebody, well, I'm just going to go and sit over there and wait for, let's just use Gettysburg as an example. People always report seeing these soldiers that are constantly showing up in the Gettysburg, area, right? And so I went to Gettysburg once and I camped out there and I waited and I saw nothing. And sometimes I think the conditions have to also be right in order for something to, let's just say, manifest. That's my side of thinking.
So it's not consistent. It maybe wanes up and down depending on what's happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so. I mean, let's talk about portals for a second. Portals can be big or small. Some people that I have talked with on my shows have actually walked into a portal. Some people have walked into a portal with missing time and have come out 11 days later. And when they were asked, where on earth were you these past 11 days? Their response was, I don't know what you're talking about. I just stepped away for 5 minutes. And a lot of these reports happen in various places. I mean, one of the biggest places that I can tell you about that I hear over and over again, and this is not to scare anybody out there, and please don't, I don't want to shut it down, but there's a lot of stuff happening in these national parks. And people don't realize that even if you stay on the trail, I talked to a person once where he was literally walking on a trail and his foot disappeared. Now that sounds really crazy. How does my foot disappear? So he's looking ahead of him and he sees that his foot is absolutely gone. And then he brings his foot back and then he brings it up again. And he realized and recognized that he was just about to walk into a portal. But portals aren't necessarily large. They can be any size. I myself here, I believe, and maybe many people might agree with me on this, maybe, I feel that there are times when I have portals literally opening up inside my house. And literally, they don't have to be big, but I've had enough unusual occurrences that have happened even within my own house that I personally cannot explain. Now, Doug, one of the things that I wanted to just tell people about here, or just jump in a second, is I am psychokinetic, I'm telekinetic, I'm telepathic. I have all the clairs from the sentient to the audience, all of them, all of the whole 10 yards. Yep. And I'm a very sensitive empath. So there have been periods of time when I have asked myself, did I do that? Am I the poltergeist? Did I create that? Or was that just something I firmly can't believe I created? I have haunted 3 homes, done plenty of investigations, brought things back with me, have attachments taken off of me. Yeah. So, I don't know. Things remain unexplained. Okay, there you go. So do you want me to try to explain this picture for a moment?
Absolutely.
All right. So the picture that you're seeing right now, and those of you that are actually listening to the program and you can't see this visually, go back and rewatch the program. He is showing a picture of me when I was around 4 to 5 years old. And when I was 4 to 5 years old, I had dreams and I had visions in my dreams. And then I would get up the next day and I would actually see what was going on from my dream on what you see, a box, black and white television. When I had about 3, 4, or 5 situations that occurred like this, I saw everything from assassinations to civil unrest to airplane crashes. I saw it all. Nothing ever positive, always negative, but always seen on television the next day. So I thought for a while there, I was the one causing this stuff going on. And I just started to wonder within myself what was kind of going on. So that's the picture that he has up right now.
What is, I would imagine you experienced this too. And I've experienced it today. There was a tool I was missing. I've searched everywhere. And literally there it was tonight, plain sight, sitting out in the open.
Yeah.
And I looked everywhere. I was so frustrated because I dropped it. Just dropped it and disappeared. I heard it roll, but there's no place. I mean, my area, my work area is clean. There's no place for it to go. And it had been gone for 2.5 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
It just appeared tonight.
Mm-hmm. I've heard of that. I've lived it. I've had
that's
it.
creepy.
I had to go to the store once, and I was running upstairs to get my purse, and I couldn't find it. It was like, where did my purse go? I mean, it's only me and my husband here. He's downstairs, right? And I don't ever lose anything. I'm absolutely, meticulous with stuff. But the thing is that we found it. We went on a hunt in our house. We found it underneath one of my office chairs, and I put kind of like a blanket over my seat. You could just see the string of it just barely peeking out just a little bit. I don't know if I gave you that picture, Alex. It would be me standing there looking puzzled at an office chair, and then you could see the strings hanging out. I may or may not have given you that, but that is called like being apported. I've had that actually even with, believe it or not, pills that I've taken. You know how you just throw a pill in your mouth after a while and then you miss your mouth and it goes flying somewhere? Mine actually disappeared for, we'll talk about that picture in a second. Mine actually disappeared for about a month. And then one day, believe it or not, I came back from taking a shower, and it was actually laying right on top of the bedding right next to my pillow. And it had been gone for about like 2 months. So when things come and go, and I've heard these stories from other people too, regarding things disappearing and then reappearing. There it is. Do you see that string right there? Right now, I showed you the picture with the blanket hanging over the chair. And then you're looking at my face and I'm going, well, how on earth did that get down there? There was no way that could have fallen down there or anything. It was literally hidden, but the string was peeked out just enough because I was in a panic. I had a time frame going on. That's the purse situation right there. Yeah.
So you saw the string. Was the string connected to your purse?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. It's as if they wanted me to eventually find it, but it was hidden completely underneath that blanket, just enough, because they knew I was in a panic. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. So there's a comment up there. God, do not make me try to pronounce your handle there.
Just call him Trip.
Trip. Okay, Trip. And he just says basically forget about it, kind of accept it's gone, and it'll come back. That's exactly, because I was literally looking for this tool every day, and I finally I gave up.
Well, the first question I would ask you, of course, if I was on the other side of the fence here interviewing you, would be, do you believe or that you live in some kind of a haunted situation, or do you believe that you might be living in some kind of a haunted situation?
Yeah.
That would be my question.
Yeah. Things have happened.
Right.
Not on a regular basis, but when they do, they're big.
Well, can you explain to me how I can lay in a bed for 2 months and then all of a sudden my pill is just sitting there nicely right by my pillow?
Yeah.
And that's the pill I was looking for over and over again. I said, darn, right? And here it is. It shows right up. Now, people might say, oh, it flipped onto the bed, and not when it's sitting nicely next to the pillow. It goes further than, just, oh, here it is, right? And by the way, hammers, did you say it was a hammer that you lost?
No, it was a very specialized socket.
Okay.
Big
Same
and heavy.
difference. I talked with a woman once who had, they were doing construction on something in their house. And obviously it was one of these Victorian type houses, but something went missing. It was actually a hammer, and they found the hammer actually outside in a bush.
Yeah.
So yeah, you tell me how the hammer goes from inside the house to outside in a bush, right?
Yeah, please leave a comment if you've had an experience like that.
Yeah.
Just with a tool. For men, a lot of times it's tools, screws.
Yeah.
I was this happened like 5 years ago, 6 years ago. I was painting the frame of an antique Harley Davidson I was building, and I was just painting the frame. It was just the frame hanging by a wire, and I had a very special paint mixed in a spray can. and I dropped the spray can, and I swear to God, I watched it go through the floor in my garage, heard it hit, but saw it go straight down and disappear into the floor. To that one, I've never seen again. That's
seen
a
that
big
one again?
item. Just
nothing underneath the floor that you can.
No, it's a.
No.
I have a vinyl, a beautiful vinyl floor in my garage, and it's there was no place for it to go.
So the question I would ask you on that would be
That one,
portal by chance.
I don't know. It's never come back. That one's
Keep
never
in
come
mind
back.
that portals do open and close. They don't always stay open at all times. So we might call it something environmentally, or the conditions are right. And when that baby went, who knows, right? We can't.
But that's
we don't know because
that's the only time, Kelly, I actually witnessed it disappear.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was so amazing about it. I saw it just,
Mm-hmm.
Of course you're questioning when you see that, you go, I didn't see what I just saw. I must have hallucinated that, because it's, when you drop something that goes pretty quick and hit the floor, heard the ball rattle, never saw it again. It's never come back. So I hope to God it isn't like 5 years from now. There it is,
Yeah, rusted.
Yeah, all rusty. Yeah, there you go.
Rusty. Returned rusty.
It's creepy. It's creepy. It's creepy. What do you think the state of mind is of a person? Is there a pattern of the state of mind a person's in when they have a paranormal experience? Are they happy? Are they upset? Is there a pattern?
For myself, I mean, you have to take everybody as an individual here, and they all have their own, what I call trigger points, right? So my triggers are, and I'm going to give you a couple examples. So when I have paranormal experiences, I'm usually in a very tired situation. And I'm going to give you examples of what happened when I'm very, very tired. Some people say, oh, I have my experiences when I'm, like fully rested, and not me. Mine usually occur when I'm tired. I'll give you a couple examples that maybe people might want to think about here. I can go into a casino, and I do like, playing the slots a little bit. But in the last 4 or 5 years, I've noticed, I started monitoring my own self. There I am. Right now, for those of you listening, he's showing a picture of me winning an awfully large jackpot. And so in the last 4 to 5 years, I have won 19 IRS jackpots, and out of about 23, 24 visits. And so the question that people have always asked me is, how do you do it? And this also happened one time with a manager that came over to a machine that was never winning for anybody. And I sat down and I won a large jackpot on it. And of course, what do you say to these people? I'm in a really tired state of being, and then I activate. But I seem to activate when I am very, very tired. And I don't know, it's kind of like that sleep state you were talking about, how things just kind of happen when you're in that sleepy kind of, in that kind of state right there. Right now, what you're seeing here is I was very tired, and I just went, and something, okay, so I'm telepathic, and sometimes I do hear voices, not necessarily my own, direct me to the machine. And my husband can account for this because he watches me in action. And then I just sit down, and sometimes I don't even like the machine. I don't want to sit there. It's boring. It's, I don't want to play it. And then I hear this voice go on inside of me, sit down and play it. And then usually within probably, I'd say 15, 20 minutes, they're coming over and paying a jackpot to me. But everybody's different, right? And for myself, I think I'm quite a beacon. I've been told my brain, or my energy is very, very strong and very powerful. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, I was told that in my 20s, and I didn't believe. A psychic told me that, and I said, I don't understand what you're talking about. And then a couple really bad situations happened, and then I understood what she was talking about. I just got angry at a few people, and you don't want to get me angry. But the thing is that I started to realize what she was saying. So right now I am in a state of being where when I'm activated, things do happen. And that includes psychokinetic abilities, telekinetic abilities. If anyone out there has ever had situations where they have been affected by electronics, that's another thing that seems to happen and occur around me. So I don't know. That's a little off topic, but I'm just going to answer you simply. It really depends on the person. So,
well, answer me this. I had a period. I had to drive to Northfield, Minnesota to do a radio interview. This is many years ago, by the way. And so I drive down there, do the interview. I had the flu really bad. We stopped at a casino for lunch because we started feeling better after being sick for like 8 days and not eating anything. So we had this big idea to stop at a buffet at a casino. Well, of course, I instantly thought, well, I'll just throw in a couple bucks in this machine. I want a car. A Mustang convertible. Okay.
I want to hang with you, Doug.
So then played again on some other machine, won $4,000. Then well, that's kind of weird. Okay, I'm on some weird streak. It's like one chance in 250 million to win it, like a car like that.
Yeah,
so we went to another casino, and I won $4,000 on a 10-cent bet. And they didn't believe it at the casino. They tore the machine apart. They're like, "There's no way you can win that much money." I'm just like, I'd hit some symbols. Then we went to Wisconsin Dells same day, drove there. And within 5 minutes of being there, I won $24,000.
Oh my goodness.
And when I
Where have I
walked
been?
in, the moment I walked in, they called my name to win, I don't know, $1,000 or something. They had drawn my name. And then that streak ended, just stopped. Oh no, it didn't stop. Then I won $55,000 at another casino on a Progressive, and then it ended.
I'm speechless because you make my little pittance look like pittance.
Well, this is many years
I'm
ago.
I'm like, what am I not doing right here? If I can't, the biggest amount of money I won.
Whoop.
We lose her?
She froze up. She was kind of getting close to freezing up. Take that picture down, Alex.
Yeah.
We'll stop talking about. But yeah, I do know, Kelly, if you can hear us, just hang up and just come back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna text her.
Yeah, she'll hit the link again.
Yeah.
But those things do happen. That was 15 years ago. That all happened. Alex.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was just weird. So I don't know.
Hopefully she'll be back in just a second.
Somebody said I need to again. I don't go to the casino. That's a rare thing. Maybe once a year. They are fun to go to casinos. I mean, they are, but
yeah, I mean they got a lot of cool stuff there. They got shows
Yeah,
and races, and
but those are those things when you win can be dangerous. Anyhow, did you text her?
yeah, she's back.
Oh, there.
Hello.
Did I just blow this whole thing up? Did I not
Yeah,
tell you
you
a minute
did.
ago? I have
That's okay.
electronics. I have no idea what happened there. All of a sudden, it just went boop.
Yeah,
like that.
So state of mind. I was talking about that little winning streak. It was a very, very happy time in my life because I had so many good things going on. I just had opened my dream restaurant. I had Monster Quest going. That was a hit, I was just, everything I did was just so nice. And so I was just probably a little more elevated, and I was kind of more in my prime. I was healthy, really super healthy. You're in your 40s and blah, blah, blah. And so I do think that has something to do with that.
Possibly. Like I said, I think everyone's different because I know when I won all of my jackpots and everything, I can tell you that I was incredibly tired, sometimes depressed, sometimes whatever.
Okay.
So I really I think it just depends on the person. Yeah.
Well, things seem to happen to me when I'm elevated and happy and
when you're
peaceful.
elevated, and I'm the absolute opposite. Interesting.
Okay, that is interesting. Everybody take note. Extreme moods may trigger things. Extreme moods.
Yeah.
Do you think let's change the subject to ghosts and entities that may wander into one's home or whatever? Do you think they're surprised to see us, or can they see us as we are seeing them or hearing them? Do you think they're hearing us going, what's going on? Or do you think it's just a one-way street?
No, I'm going to give you an example of this, not just in our homes. I was just at a conference. I was speaking at a conference out in Washington, and this was brought to the attention of the entire group the day after. But I was up on a panel, and I was just chattering about something regarding a question that was asked. And then all of a sudden, over the loudspeaker came a response from something that was not a person that was part of this conference. And so it gave a reaction to something that I had said. I had also interviewed a couple gals actually last night who had also said that their greatest joy is when they're on doing an investigation, and something is actually commenting either about them or saying something to the effect of, do you think she sees us? And that was kind of a recent interesting comment too. So
I'd say,
yeah, I think it can go either way, but I know for myself, that was shocking to hear that something actually reacted to something I said, which was verified by a very critical journalist that was sitting in the audience who had actually heard that and brought it up. So I think people do have these types of experiences. Do they think that we're it? I asked that very question to my guests. I said, do you think in a moment that they thought that maybe you were actually the ones that they were looking at or monitoring rather than vice versa? It's possible. I don't know. I'm going to throw this in your lap for a moment, Doug. Have you ever had a situation like that?
I don't know. Let me think. I just, I've had things like banging on my bedroom door, which is weird. Obviously, something wants your attention. Something's banging on your door. And we've had it bang on like everybody's doors. Go down the hallway and bang on my kids' doors, and it's kind of freaky. I mean, it's really unsettling. It happened about 2 months ago. Again, it happened in a long time. And I always wonder though that even like cryptids, these weird cryptids like Mothman, they seem to like want to scare people. But then again, I'm thinking, did they just pop in and go, oh, where am I? You know what I mean? I don't know. I always wonder about that.
Well, I saw an elemental in our hallway probably about 8, 9, 10 months ago. I was coming up the stairs, and anyone
okay, good night, everybody. Elementals, no.
What did it look like? Like, how would you describe that to someone?
That's like the scariest thing ever. Okay, you saw an elemental. You cannot just say that. You can't say that, Kelly.
I like how she just says it.
You cannot say Kelly.
World's smallest violin playing right now.
Back the truck.
Tell us
what you saw.
I will tell you what I saw.
I'm scared now. Okay.
All right. So here we go. All right. So I was coming up the stairs, and keep in mind that I had a lot of, all right, we'll call it poltergeist activity, whether it was myself or something else or something that came through the portal or whatnot. But I was coming up my stairs to come down to my office. And so what I saw was, it was about 2 feet high. Okay. It was like, I describe it as like being a wisp. Alex, did I give you that picture of that wisp image? I may have.
What does it look like?
Towards the end of the pictures, you'll see something that looks like, it's not Hat Man. It was kind of a wisp.
What the hell is a wisp?
Well, very dark, darker than black, right?
Okay.
Not necessarily we all know when we see something that if it's dark and there's something darker than it, that it just doesn't seem quite right.
I'd say.
And so I saw this thing, and I've been having a lot of activity in our bathroom. So of course, sometime I'm going to write a chapter on bathrooms. Nope, not that one. It's a black wisp, and it looks like it kind of looks like a shadow of a hat man.
Alex will just throw anything up.
Yeah, I was going to say whatever you want. We'll talk about it. How's that? You just go ahead, and I will let you know my thoughts. But anyway, but it was actually going very fast, and it was like it didn't want to be seen. But it went into my husband's office, and I didn't care because at that point I have been through so many experiences, in life, and some very terrifying, that I thought, oh, okay, great. So I just announced to my husband, oh, by the way, something about 2 feet tall, whoop, wisp into your office. So,
Nice.
have at it. To this day, I don't know what that was, but I know I saw it, and I know it was real, and I know I wasn't drinking. So,
Yeah. I've seen some things out of the corner of my eye once in a while when I'm working. I'll see something. I'll just like, what the hell was that? Some kind of weird reflection, or it just makes you snap your head. But I've never seen like an entity in my, like a thing. That'd be the end of. There'd be a for sale sign up in the yard the next day.
Well, I did do that to one of my houses. I've haunted 3 of them, and there was a for sale sign that did go up as soon as my husband went under possession. But I was going to ask you this question. Have you ever seen an apparition, whether translucent and or that you know of? Now, keep in mind that when you're in a crowd of 200 people, usually they claim, or they suspect they claim, that usually about two out of the 200 is probably like what we call something that's tagging along or trying to go with the flow. But have you ever seen an apparition, whether it's translucent and or what you believe is full bodied? Because I can give you.
I did back in the 70s one time, and to this day I don't know if I was dreaming, but I woke up. I don't know why I woke up, but there was a hooded figure with wide set eyes. And I remember it reminded me of my cousin Eugene. And I looked and I thought, is that Eugene in the dark there? Kind of, and because there was a nightlight. I've slept with a nightlight my whole life.
Yeah, me too.
I have to. Because I know what's out there. So, and I see this, and then I dive to the light switch to turn it on. Because this thing just staring at me, and it just kept staring at me. But I tried to turn away to flip the switch on, and it was gone.
What color of eyes did it have?
They were definitely black, and it had like a hood, like a big hood on.
I haven't seen that, but I've heard about the ones with the red eyes, of course, red piercing eyes that actually come right through the wall. My neighbor had that happen, and their for sale sign, by the way, went up in the yard probably within a month or 2 after that. I did just to let you know on how long something can hold its energy. This is a true story that I'm going to tell you. Now, it didn't happen to me, but I did talk to a guest of mine who to this day will never back down on the story. And the story is that he was at someplace. It was, I think, somewhere out in Utah. And what happened was an older man came up to him, and he started rambling on about this or that or whatever, because he knew that the guy that we'll call him Steve, that Steve had a very big interest in something that this guy that was actually an apparition did a long time ago. And the skinny of it is that he talked with this man, this older man, for about a half hour, which brings us to the new question of I've always heard that apparitions can only hold their energy for maybe, a few seconds, maybe a minute at the most. This apparition held his energy for a half hour. And so he went back. The guy just kind of went off and kind of disappeared, and he wasn't thinking much of it. He went to the tourist office or whatever. And he said, yeah, you know what? I'd like to send something to that one guy. And can you give me his name? And when he mentioned his name, and he said his name was, let's just call him Bill. His name was Bill. Oh, Bill's been deceased for at least 9 years. And so, but here he had, and he will swear to this day, half-hour conversation with something that approached him that had an interest in what he was doing, was really as human as you and I appear. And that led me down the road now of how long can an apparition actually hold their energy for, because that's the longest I've ever heard of. So,
Yeah,
I
I've
don't know.
heard many stories. I heard one not terribly long ago from a friend of mine. It actually happened at a casino because he ran into his uncle, had a long conversation with him, then went to dinner with his mother and father, and he said, "Oh, I ran into Uncle so and so, and we talked for a long time." And he said he died 2 days ago.
Oh, yeah, those immediate ones. Yeah. That's creepy. That's creepy when they come to visit you in that respect.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
ooh.
It's
But I've
creepy.
heard those kind of stories quite a few times where
Yeah.
people have had long conversations with
Mhm.
people who are deceased,
Yeah.
you know, and they're just as flesh and blood and as
Yep.
normal as they could be.
Yep. Yep. Mhm.
That's really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what you know, people really want to hear us talk about, but I can only kind of go where I'm interested, and I'm really interested in maybe we can switch from these vague entities to aliens,
All right.
if you don't mind.
Alex, put up the handprint.
All right. Is that the
Did
one
you
where
say
it's on you?
handprint?
It was the one you had before.
Just
Yeah.
keep in mind, I have to take the garbage out tonight alone, Dr. Kelly. Please.
Are you talking about
You're
this
right. You
one?
had it up 2 seconds ago. The one with the, there you go. Leave it
Oh,
right there.
jeez.
Okay, so right now, what people are looking at, for those who are listening, there is a handprint that showed up on my body about, oh gosh, what, 2 years now? I think 2 years ago. And here's the brief story about it. So I was in my office one night, and I'm a workaholic, and so I went to bed around 2:00 a.m. And when I laid down, this ungodly smell came over my nose. And I said to myself, I not know what my husband's shampoo is tonight, but it is absolutely wretched. And so I took the covers and I put them over my nose because it was making me physically sick. All right, and so what it smelled like was this really ungodly, rose watery Victorian, really, but kind of with more putrid smell to it. And I just went to sleep. The next day I got up and I went to, of course, the restroom, and I was, you know how you are, you look in the mirror, and right on me, and I can even, I know you can't see it right now, but over, like you put your hand over your heart, but over to your shoulder a little bit, was this blood red, purplish handprint.
Now, this is on your skin.
That's mine. The thing that really
Whoa.
amazed me the most, yes, and it didn't, people ask me all the time, did it hurt? No, I was pressing in on it. It was almost like an embedded, not a tattoo, but kind of like, an embedded print, but it didn't hurt at all. And so I was
Chemical
pressing in
burn?
it. Yeah,
Almost like a chemical burn is what it looks like.
you would think, right? So
Yeah.
I went downstairs and I said to my husband, look at what's on my body. Look at this handprint. Oh my God, right? And he, of course, I didn't touch you. Well, yeah, wish you would once in a while, but that's husbands for you. But the thing is I want people to look at one thing here, especially those of you who hopefully will watch this later. Look at the one where I identified it as the crooked finger. So here's what it really was on my body. Take your hand, your right hand, flip it upside down, elongate your fingers, okay? And then that one finger that you see that's kind of crooked, that is the one right there that tells the whole story to me. No, I don't have a crooked finger. No, it's not my hand. I've had 5 psychics on this whole thing. Where did this handprint come from? What touched me? It took 3 hours, by the way. It was on me 3 hours, as dark as you see right now, and then it just disappeared. And so some people say, well, did it just gradually nope, it just disappeared. And so I had a number of psychics try to give me their theories about where this came from. Everything from an older woman mistook you for something and singed, or like you said, like a chemical burn, singed it into my skin, to an alien, to the one that I think it's closer to is a mantis being. And the reason why it's kind of, I'm on the fence about this a little bit. Alex, do you have the picture of the mantis being by chance?
Yes.
Would you flip that
Doug's
up?
gonna want to see.
When
that.
Alex is looking for that, I do want to thank some of the people in chat because we really appreciate the comments, Trip, and the very nice comments. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Let's see here, Catherine, our roulette. Thank you very much for your nice comments and so on. It is appreciated. Anyhow,
Yeah.
and thank you, Charles and Charlotte, and for your donations. We do appreciate that too. Super chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Holy crap.
Okay, so yeah, so if you want to have Thanksgiving tomorrow, just don't remember this image. So for those of you who are listening, I have just had Alex put up a picture of a couple mantis beings, and I want to explain this picture to you.
Wow.
For a year and a half, I kept saying to the universe, could you please tell me who put that handprint on my body? Could you please tell me? And I was just getting like I said, I had to go to psychics, and they all started having their theories until one night I was sleeping and I was dreaming, and I dreamt of it was like my husband's cousin's daughter. And in my dream, and as vivid today as ever, she was walking away from me. I could see her walking away in the dream. And then she turned around, and this is what I saw, except there was one more thing that I also saw. It was a dark mask trying to kind of disguise its face a little bit. And the eyes looked exactly like how you see it right now. And the minute I was dreaming this, right? And the minute I saw this, I just woke up. I was full of sweat. My heart was beating out of my chest. And I screamed, don't ever, ever do that to me again, whatever that was. Now, I talked with a guest, probably months after that. And I told him what I saw. And he said, Kelly, so I was right where the handprint showed up. I was very, very sick. And I mean, I was very, very sick. And so the handprint, or this print, was exactly over. I had some type of pneumonia, and it was not something that was instantly curable. And so the handprint went over that. And then he said, how do you know that might not have been a mantis being? Because they're known as healers. Now, I'm not saying it was, okay? And I'm not saying I'm tripping here. I have never seen this before, and I never seen it after. But when I saw this, it was blatantly obvious to me. Now, take a look at those fingers.
Yeah.
I realize there's so many, but there are some crooked fingers there. And if you recall that picture, and I said, look at that crooked finger, it may have been the old woman. Or maybe it was the mantis being. Who knows? All I know is it was not my own handprint, and that's the only thing I can tell you to this day. So, yeah. And by the way, I felt healed after that. I felt better, and I'm much stronger, but I wasn't very in good shape. I was very sick then. Yeah.
Okay. No. So this image of mantises, did you see this in a dream, or did you see these creatures?
Yeah. No, this dream.
It was a dream.
Put a dark mask over its nose, and it's just below the eyes a little bit. Put a mask over that because it was trying to disguise itself.
Oh,
but it was so terrifying. And when you wake up in a sweat, which I do not wake up very often in a sweat at all, and my heart's beating out of my chest, that was freaky. So now keep in mind, I've always had theories about, and I've had what I believe is another extraterrestrial or alien visitation. Actually, it happened in Las Vegas. And this is when I kind of started to rethink paranormal entities, if you want to call it or group it all together, versus an extraterrestrial, something beyond that. And that happened actually in Las Vegas. And this is where I came to learn that that I may have not have been having just regular experiences. I may have been having something more outer worldly. And in that particular case, something came into my room, in my hotel room. I'm usually in Las Vegas writing my books by myself. And that night I looked out the window. I was on the 60th floor. And I said, I wonder if I'm going to see a UFO go by. What an idiot thing to say. So the thing is, as soon as I turned around and you talked about pounding on your doors, all of a sudden the electronics in my room started going whippy wonky and lights were flashing on and off. And then I heard taps on the wall behind me. And then I was knocked out. And when I woke up the next morning, I felt like I was cleansed. I felt really good. I felt different. And a psychic pointed out to me, in fact, I didn't even think about that situation, about that. And she said, do you realize that a few years ago you had a visitation in your room? That wasn't paranormal. That was something more extraterrestrial, and they're there to clean your blood. And I have to explain something here to everyone. They discovered cancer in me a couple months later. And it wasn't because of what it was doing to me. It was there essentially, once again, another healing kind of thing, kind of came to prepare me for that next step. And so my experiences with anything outer worldly or unusual like this has not been negative to this day. It's always been of the healing sort. So that's been my experiences.
Well, that's good. I just don't want to see those dudes on garbage night. That's all.
You know, have you ever seen anything? I'm going to ask you this, Doug. Have you ever seen anything outer worldly? I'm going to just leave it like that. Yes or no?
Sure, I can tell a quick story. I was driving home at about 4 a.m. one time, and up ahead of the road, I thought there was a woman in a white robe walking her dog, because she was leaning back. And I thought, oh, she's walking a dog. You know, just someone walking a dog with a leash. Sometimes 10 people tend to, you know, like their dog's pulling and they're kind of leaning back a little bit.
Yeah.
And so as I got closer, I realized there was no dog. And then as I got closer, there was no robe, because it was just white. It was just this white thing. And as I drove past, it just stared at me. And it was near Halloween. So, of course, in my brain, I'm going, is this somebody in a costume? You know, is this, you know, some kind of a thing? And then it just walked into the forest. As I drove, you know, I drove past it, kind of looked a little bit, and it just kind of did a right angle turn and then walked towards the forest. But I was out of there. It was really white, skinny, and walked leaning back. Kind of a one and all, you know, this was 15 years ago. This isn't like I see things all the time.
So I have a question that I even present to my own guests once in a while. Why is it that we always seem to see a lot of things always dressed in white? I mean, I know that other experiences that I have had, especially with these black-eyed teens and kids, if we even get to that in a moment at all, or if we have to, stop. But the thing is, it's like, there seems to be a lot of sightings all the time when what we're looking at is dressed in white, or they're, white gown, white this, white that. Do you have any theories or any ideas as to why that is?
No, I just think white is a feature of evolution. I think the farther you become evolved, the more you're going to be protected by technology and clothing, and you're just not going to be out roughing it, climbing mountains if you're in an advanced civilization. You'll be more like the Jetsons, right?
Yeah,
you're going to be living in spaceships, and so I just think white is the lack of any melanin. They're not getting out in the sun. What I saw didn't have any clothes on. It was just white. I called it white. I mean, that was the nickname I gave it. Because I would tease my son, because like a year later he moved into a house that was like a block away from where I saw the white. And when he told me where we moved into, and I'm like, dude, that's right where I saw the white.
Mm-hmm. Was it a form? Like, I mean, you said it was kind of like something being dragged,
It
but
was
did it
like
actually
a
have
tall
a physical form?
alien-looking creature
Oh,
with
yeah.
mean-looking eyes. It did not give
Oh,
me a
lovely.
pleasant look. When I
Lovely.
drove by, it kind of gave me a dirty look and followed me with its eyes, and I just kept. I'm like, I'm out of here.
Yeah, lovely.
I was
Lovely.
close to it. I mean, I was probably 10 feet from it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kelly, can you take this? Can you take John's question?
Yeah, please.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. Let me see. I'm going to look at it here. Okay, yes. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Okay. So are you telling me, yeah, so I've had, by the way, I've known people who have worked. Are you talking like when you say EMS, yeah, fire and EMS, like an EMT? And of course you see, when you're, correct me if I'm wrong here. And you see a lot of devastating things, you know, you have to, there are people out there that have to take care of people, right? And so are you having this only in your dreams? Because I do know that patients that did not make it, are you seeing them in your dreams? But they're there. Are you traumatized by chance by something that you have witnessed when you're out in the field trying to take care of business with those that have passed away in your situations? And are you somehow pulling that in? Because if that's the case, I've had students, I used to be a college professor, and I used to have students that did this sort of thing, just like what I believe what you're talking about. And so devastating, so traumatizing that they've had to leave the field because it would just haunt them completely. Is that what you're talking about here? Are you internalizing anything from a traumatic kind of something that you experienced? Am I close to what you're asking for here?
Did you get that, John?
Did he respond to that?
John's probably there. Well,
I'll bring it up.
It'll take him a while.
That's what I'm asking about too. Did they attach to you? I'm just now kind of seeing some of the comments regarding that. And when they show up in your dreams and stuff like that, I'm wondering if that's associated with some kind of trauma that went along with the type of work that you did, and it's embedded within your thinking. But is that am I close? I was just trying to understand your question.
Yeah, we'll find out. Susie, he's typing.
Yeah.
He's typing.
Okay. Yeah.
It's sometimes it isn't so much how you can type quick. It's trying to communicate what you want to say in a few words. You know, it can be tough. There he goes. It says, I've been through a lot, but they are just there somehow. Yeah. So
they're there in your dreams. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Uh-huh. I still think that this has something to do being connected with some kind of trauma that has somehow, it hasn't completely fully processed out of you. In fact, it's just kind of like embedded.
It's the way we deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's kind of bump around here. And if anybody has any questions, now is a better time to start asking questions. Now you say you're an empath too. Can you like give people some guidance if they have a question for you?
Start drinking. Okay, that's not the right guidance. Okay. I have to. No, I haven't. I actually don't drink very much at all. But there are days when I wish I could, you know. I'm an intuitive empath. I'm very, very sensitive. I don't have any good advice for you other than the fact that what might help is some type of Reiki treatments once in a while, some yoga, something to actually calm your system down a little bit, something to distract your mind from things that are really sitting on your mind. Okay. Because if you internalize this long enough, things inside of you that have a tendency to kind of eat at you in different ways. And for me, I can't turn it off. I've been sensitive for a very long time. I am probably more sensitive now to people's energies around me. And those of you that can relate to this, have you ever been around somebody where you can just sense and feel that energy, especially if they're in a very somber, depressed mood? All of a sudden you feel like you're a sponge, just kind of sucking that in. You have to learn how to block that better, and how to keep that from going into your sponge, because I have never been really good at that. I'm very, very much a listening kind of person. And along with that comes my empathy and my, empath abilities to really, really feel the individual. And sometimes that can actually really drain you. I don't know. Gentlemen, do you have any advice for that? Because I just have to step away from it and break from it.
Put more salt on your eggs, John. That would be my advice.
Yeah.
John works with salt. That's why I'm teasing him.
Oh, okay.
He works with
Gotcha.
salt. Okay. Is there any danger from ghosts generally, or monsters? People see dogmen, they see Bigfoot. Generally, and I don't know if, there's people out there that believe Bigfoot's paranormal or dimensional, every kind of thing, but there are some really weird cryptids that are seen. Are they dangerous, or can people pretty much with confidence go, they're not going to hurt you?
Oh, that's not true. No, I don't believe that at all. I'm going to give a couple examples here. Maybe this might shed two perspectives on it here.
Okay.
So let's talk about something I hope I never, ever, ever, ever see in my lifetime, and that's Dogman. I have never, ever heard of one person ever say, if they had an encounter with Dogman, that they are going to survive that moment with Dogman. I've never, ever heard of that. I've heard of people seeing Dogman for some reason and managing to get out of that situation, but that's one cryptid, if you want to put it in that category, or monster that you just do not want to deal with. Let's talk about Bigfoot here for a moment. I have many different types of stories about Bigfoot. Some say Bigfoot won't hurt you. Some say Bigfoot could hurt you. And I know there's people in the chat room tonight that are actually better at their Bigfooting than I am. But some of the things that I have heard has been everything from a woman who came 2 inches in front of a Bigfoot. Okay, she thought it was a cougar. She was stranded out in the woods for the moment. Her car had a flat tire. She laid down. She was tired. It was cougar country. She thought something was sniffing at her. She thought it was a cougar. So she jumped up, tried to scare it away. And instead it was a 7 to 7.5 foot Bigfoot. She took one look at it. She went, eh. It took one look at her. It went, eh. And it ran off into the woods. In that particular case, that Bigfoot did not hurt her. Okay. It was as afraid of her as she was of it. I've also heard of the stories, which are very sad, where when you're out somewhere, maybe with your family, and then all of a sudden one of the family members goes missing, and then they see from a distance that there is actually a Bigfoot carrying off their 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old child over its shoulder, and then it just disappears and the child is never seen again. We don't know what happened to that child. We don't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Yep. So it just all depends. So would I say that one should err to caution? Probably. Have I ever had some of those experiences? I hope not. Even from a paranormal standpoint, with just this energy, and you don't know some of this unexplained energy. I've been choked in bed, and I have been choked. It wasn't sleep paralysis. I was literally 3 nights in a row where I woke up gasping for air so badly that it was one of my decisions to move out of that house. I don't think a person should provoke anything. I don't think you should take it on. I think you should try to understand what you're dealing with before you're putting yourself in that position and what you might do, fight or flight here. And I don't know if there's any good answers for that. I think once again, it just all depends. That's just from what I know. So
yeah. Have you you remember the black-eyed kids phenomena that was going on? Has that died out?
No,
or are there still new?
Put it up, Alex. All right, stop here.
Oh God.
And then
Okay,
I'm gonna,
goodbye.
And then and then I'm gonna have, and I hope we're still good on time. You just have to let me know.
Is this
Yeah,
the
we're good.
Halloween episode?
We're good.
Is this like, yeah, it could be the Halloween episode. I'll try to make, and let me know what our time issues are here
Yeah,
so
we're
I don't
good.
ramble on. All right. Has it died out? No, it has not.
Ugh.
This image that you see here is depictive of a situation that occurred 3 years ago at a very well-known state fair where I worked. We'll just leave it at that. Midnight hours. I had two situations, one indirect, one direct. We'll talk about the indirect one first that involved my coworker who is like myself. We're beacons. So wherever they are, here they come. This kid that you're looking at right now they're showing a picture of a young boy who's got brown hair and very dark black-eyed eyes. He was a teen at the time. Here's the short and skinny on the story. So where I worked, we were dealing with $1 million horses, okay? And I was supervising the graveyard shift on the situation. But just before the shift change prior to me occurred, one of the co-workers came up to me and was absolutely frantic. And I said, well, what's going on? What happened? She says, you'll never believe what just happened to me. Okay. So we hand out shower keys, and somehow this kid ended up in a shower where he did not belong. And when a person attempted to go into their shower room, there was this kid standing in the shower room in which nobody knows how he got in there. He was wearing common day clothes, but he was acting very unusual. So we went to get him, pulled him out. He was standing by a beam. This was in a horse barn, again, with $1 million horses. He went into a very, most people would say, was he drugged up state of being, okay? And he's just laying there against this pillar. We're questioning him about how did he manage to get into that shower room? Where did he come from? Give us your story. What's going on? He would not talk. He just sat there with his head down, and his eyes were very dark, just like what you see here. And his head was down, and yes, his bangs were kind of over his eyes. Though a person was going to walk their horse. So they were walking the horse towards the door, which is where this guy was standing by the pillar. The horse takes one look at this kid, stops immediately in its tracks, starts to back up, starts to whine. You know how what horses get when they see something and they start jumping with their front legs, like, I don't want to go any closer or near that. The horse was looking directly at this kid. They turned, the co-worker turned for a moment and to the horse, because obviously now we have a situation of safety in there. And just before she turned back, the kid looked at her. He raised his head up. And now, Alex, put up the picture of that one. Imagine this. This is a boy. That should be coming right.
This will give Doug
All right,
nightmares.
bring it up. Bring it up. This is it. And this is otherwise.
Don't look, Doug.
Yeah, don't look, Doug. There you go. Now, people usually get very squeamish when they see this picture, but this is exactly what he looked like. He raised his head up. He looked right at her. His eyes went wide, and that's exactly how his teeth looked when he smiled at my coworker. And then when she gasped and the horse was still backing up and all that, imagine this going on in seconds. When she turned back and everything settled down, just for a split second, this kid was gone. And so they went looking for this kid. The door was very close by, nowhere to be seen, no way he could have escaped the situation. He just vanished. And she was so terrified that it took me a half hour to calm her down after all of this. And I said, you just had a black eye situation. But then Kelly, 1 year later, had one herself. So what happened there is the carnival was right next to the same barn. Yeah, and it gets better. I mean, it gets better.
Good, yeah.
This is where my undercover investigation work comes in, Doug. So here's the in the morning hours again, raining cats and dogs. Carnival is right next door. Not all carnival people are bad. I'm just going to emphasize that right now. But somehow this kid that was like about 24 to 26 was wandering through the barn, not to be there, shouldn't have been there, don't know what he was doing. And of course, guess who's watching the barn? Me, right? So I have to go out. And
Okay, so this is the same place, Kelly?
Yep,
Okay.
same place.
Alex, you can take that picture down.
Come on, Dad. Look at her.
A gentler, yeah, leave it up there for him. Let him have it, you know?
No, thank you.
That is a terrifying picture, but that is depictive of what that boy looked like. But anyway, this other kid who I stopped, I said, can you tell me why you're here at 1:30 in the morning wandering around this barn? And he was acting kind of strange. Anyone who knows the black-eyed phenomena knows what I'm going to say next. I need to get into your office. I have to have you ask me to come into your office. I want to get into your office. My friend is going to be here very, very soon. Keep in mind that this place was shut down tighter than you can imagine. Nobody was coming in on those grounds at all. So all this stuff he was feeding me was kind of bull. So now I'm going, what, whoa? And I looked into his eyes and I thought, dear God, whatever happens, please, whatever, don't go completely black and don't go completely red, just whatever. So I'm looking at his eyes, and now, you know, investigative work here, started to smell if he had alcohol or something coming out of his breath and just acting. I need you to ask me to bring me into your office. Why do you need to come into my office? I just need you. Okay, so went on that whole black-eyed lingo stuff. So long story short on this kid, I had to, what's the word? I had to sting him. I had to sting him with 2 undercover detective sheriff people that were there that day. And we had to figure out how to get this kid out of the barn in some way, raining cats and dogs, out of the grounds completely. There was something that was just feeling really bad to me. Then I remembered where I saw him from. I thought, why does this kid look familiar? And then it hit me. He came from the carnival. Now, like I said, not all carnival people come in there ever after the fair closes down. But there was something weird about, like, something took possession of him or something really nasty that got into him. And he just found himself lethargically or whatever, walking around, talking really crazy. And that happened about 2 years ago, a year after the first black-eyed situation.
Did this one have sharp teeth too?
No, he had nice teeth. But he had nice teeth, and he looked like a really well put together kid. Only the problem was when he started talking, he sounded like a 6 to 8 year old child.
Like awkward.
And I thought, this is really weird. And then the people that came in to help me sting him, in other words, keep it quiet, remove them silently, get them out of a very important situation, which was this situation. The biggest thing about this kid, which is really, really sad, is that I really don't believe in a million years that when he got removed from the property, he would probably, if he snapped out of it, he wouldn't figure out how the heck he got off the property. But it is still a very, very true phenomenon. It still occurs. Those are my 2 situations with it. And it doesn't happen all the time. It just happens. And it takes you off, you get caught off guard.
And I am regretting bringing up that topic.
Why? Oh, the black-eyed kid?
Yeah.
Yeah, just, walk in the park.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
They're a little bit
Guess who
out
I'm bringing
there,
to Thanksgiving tomorrow?
A black-eyed
Oh,
person.
what? A black-eyed kid?
Oh,
Sure, there you
nice.
go. There you
Thanks,
go.
Alex.
That's
You better
really
double
fun.
check before you open that door.
Well, I had a situation. This probably goes back 5 years. And it was just a kid who probably looked like he was maybe 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard beating on the front door,
Mm-hmm.
just beating. It was like, what in the world? What, who is this person?
Mm-hmm.
And I had 2 young daughters living, of course, here at the time. They're grown up now, but he was just pounding on the door, and 10 minutes of it, and I didn't know what to do. But I got to look, and I swear to God, he had black eyes. And then he got on a bike that was laying down in the grass by the corner and drove off. Never came back. I don't know who the hell it was. Talked to my daughters. They're like, we don't know who that would be. And I'm like, did I see a black-eyed kid? And I told my daughter about that phenomena. And of course, my daughter's like, calls me up like a week later, all freaked out, going, Dad, I can't stop thinking about it. And she really, really scares people. A phenomena scares people because they do want to get in your house or your car or something.
And they will give you any type of reason to try. And then when they say this, my parents will be here soon. My parents are on their way to come and get me. How do they know that you're standing at this address and all that? I've heard of situations where they'll stand outside of people's, like you're in your car, like in a parking lot, and they'll come up and they'll start kind of knocking on your window. And they give you the big old sad story type thing, and you feel like you need to help these kids. What are they? But then when you start thinking about what are they doing out at 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning?
Did the horses react the second time?
The horses were all in their pens. This kid was just wandering around in the dark because we low light for the horses and make them calm and stuff. So he was just wandering kind of around in a very weird way. So but no, when that horse backed up and started freaking out, these animals can be very, very sensitive. So, they can see things we can't always see.
What are your thoughts on coincidences? Because they seem almost paranormal at times, because there's such a slim chance that any of these things would, when you have so many bizarre coincidences happen, like, one day out of the blue, you're like, there's no way. I had one the other day with the chicken wings. Remember, Alex? That had to do with Bigfoot. I got to tell that story sometime.
You do.
Tell it now because I'm thinking of one for you.
It's a long story. Okay.
You got to tell it.
I do.
Is this called the chicken wing story?
It's kind of weird. Okay. So
weird.
I went to a conference in northern Minnesota, in a VIP conference, and we had to have dinner with our sponsors. So, and there was a couple that sponsored me. There was like one couple that would sponsor each speaker. So I had dinner, and I went up to this. There was this restaurant. I'm not going to name it. But the chicken wings were like, oh my God, they were so good. Right? That's the end of the story, but it had to do with Bigfoot. Okay, so then a buddy of mine is up investigating. There were 3 sightings in that kind of vicinity. And he goes up there and he's investigating. It's east of this location. He calls me up and he's telling me what he had found. And I said to him, oh my God, I've been craving those damn chicken wings, because he knew where it was, because he was at that dinner. So I said, gee, you should pick me up some and drive them over here. I'm only like 300 miles away from there, right? And he goes, oh, good, that's a good idea. I'm going to stop there and eat. I'm starving. And so he goes there and he does this. But Yvette hears me talking about these chicken wings. So she goes, oh, there's one right here in town. And so I end up getting those Ubered over, right? Uber Eats brings them over, and I'm just like gorging on these things. They're so good. And then I had some leftovers. So a guy that works for me was over for a meeting, and I made him lunch of chicken wings and potato salad and a few things. So he's eating, and then he goes, oh, I forgot. The owner of this restaurant wants to meet you. Because he listens to your podcast.
Ah.
He loves your podcast.
Okay.
But all this has to do with Bigfoot and meeting this. Do you see the things were just, Joe was here the next day eating these things, and he reminded him that this person wanted to meet me. And then there was the weird thing of the guy going up investigating Bigfoot, coming back. We're talking about the topic. And then he goes there and eats. And then Yvette hears me talking about it. And she said, there's one here in town. It's too many weird things surrounding one topic. Too many people interacting over one weird, out of the way, just weird thing. There's no big deal with chicken wings, but it was they all were surrounding Bigfoot.
Yeah, but think about other situations you were probably in as well. I'm just kind of scrolling in the back of my. I have coincidences all the time, and I blame it on my psychic connection, or I've opened up for a moment and I'm connecting with something, and it's just, it happens. I can say, like, for example, have you ever watched television and you blab out a statement or you say something to somebody, and then all of a sudden over on the TV, they say the exact same line that you say.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got that. Or here's another one that I'm real good at because I'm telepathic. Remember back in the day when we used to have the rotary telephones kind of thing, or even your own cell phone, and you look at the phone and it rings and you're just thinking of somebody, and it's them on the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's your psychicness honing in on all this, or
if they're picking up that you're thinking about them and then they call you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But I know that there's many of us out here that can relate to all these unusual little coincidences that occur. And not often do we just sit back and think, I wonder what happened there, how that happened. But I have them all the time, but I always pass them off as, I must be zoning again, or I must be having my moment again, or no surprise there. That's usually how I react when I have lots of little situations like that.
Yeah, I have a lot of coincidences happen to me through. In fact, there's a book coming out at some point. It's written. I still have to edit it, but it's about all of my coincidences that have happened throughout my life. Because
you kept track of them.
Some of them are nuts. I mean, there's one. Oh yeah, there's one. I actually, when I got into the TV business, I ran an ad out west for somebody who would be willing to shoot this TV pilot on spec. So this guy contacts me, and he ends up coming here, and we do this TV pilot, and it's on spec, and he ends up moving here because he goes, I used to live here. And I'm like, well, I didn't know that. But anyhow, so he ends up teaching me the TV business, teaches me how to shoot, teaches me how to edit. And I asked him, I said, well, where did you get all of this equipment? You've got this huge amount of editing gear. And back in the 80s, it was expensive. Like you could easily spend $500,000 on all these ADO machines and Grass Valley switchers. And it's not like today where you just need a laptop. And he goes, I had a hit record in Japan and in the US. We were the first band signed by Motown, white band signed by Motown. We had a hit record. And so I used all my profits from the record to do all this stuff. Okay, well, that's fine. So then I learned the TV business. I ended up getting a job to produce this TV show. And the first guy I interview lives in this mansion on Lake Superior. And I said to him, so how did you make your money, to buy this beautiful place with this amazing view, probably one of the most beautiful lots in the world. And he said, well, I had a hit record, back in the 60s, and we were the first band signed by Motown.
Oh my.
And I didn't connect the dot. I did not connect these two yet. But one day I was over at this, they're both named Greg, by the way. I'm over at this other Greg. And I said, by the way, do you know a Greg Bambanek? And he goes, yeah, he was my bass player. And I'm like, oh my God. I said, when was the last time you talked to him? He goes, it's been like, 35, 40 years. I said, I dial up the other Greg and I reunite those guys. But what are the chances that my first TV interview and the guy that taught me, both were in this band, and the band was called Michael and the Messengers. And both of them ended up becoming friends. Both of them became, big influences in my life. One from LA and one from Duluth. It's just like the chances of that are impossible.
Well, I can add one to that. At this conference that I was just at, the people that were sitting next to our my vendor booth, the gentleman was, we you know how you strike up a conversation and you get to know a little bit about them. And I said, yeah, I'm he says, where are you from? I said, well, I'm from Minnesota, and I live in a, you know, this area right here. And he goes, oh, how interesting. I grew up in Minnesota, and I just moved out to whatever. And essentially he was our next door neighbor. So what are the chances that you go out to a state that's many states away from where you live, and the person sitting in the booth running their own booth right next to you is actually your back, you know, your neighbor from across the way? And so we had a kick out of that too. But these coincidences about finding people or meeting people, like I always have a running joke when I go over to Europe. It's like my running joke is, who am I going to meet that's actually from Minnesota, you know, or something like that. And it happens all the time.
But these things are beyond chance. There's just no way it'd be not only just meeting both of these people from this one band from the 60s is weird enough, but then both of them influencing my life in such a great way. And one of them is I still do projects with the guy, science projects. So guess what? The name of my book is called Monsters and Messengers, based off the band The Messengers.
Oh, cool.
So the fact the band is named the word messengers too is kind of weird.
Well, it's a small world, and that's what I always keep saying. It's a small world. Somehow we come together for whatever the reason might be. We somehow full circle back to, and who knows what the underlying thing might be. It might not be a good thing. It could be a good thing, or it might be something like, oh, gee, I wish I wouldn't have run into them kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there always seems to be something that you're learning from that situation. So,
people need to be aware. Yes, there are no coincidences. It's up to you to try to figure out why that happened.
Correct.
You're up to you need to figure that out. Take responsibility, because somebody probably worked really hard to put you together.
Yeah, well, and
make that happen.
Right.
So it's your responsibility. It's kind of the way I look at it. And the more you acknowledge those things, I think the more coincidences that continue to happen to you, and the more help you get from, whether it's a guardian angel or whatever these intelligent, loving creatures are that want to benefit people. I have no idea. I don't know.
If you were to ask me 5-6 years ago, what did I want to do when I retired? Right now, being a TV talk show person, and also having a good podcast myself, and interviewing everybody that you can imagine, was not something I would have told you about. I have been falling into, and many of you out there can probably relate to this. Think about your life just for a moment. Have you been evolving in some way that you've been falling into things, and sometimes you look back and go, how on earth did I get here? You know, because I say that a million times, like, how on earth did I get here? Could I have predicted a year ago that I would be talking on your show tonight? No, and not at all. These things, there's like you said, there's something out there or something that's helping us guide our path, or potentially put things in front of us to make decisions about, that give us the opportunity to say yay or nay, or maybe, or I'll take a chance, or I'll take a risk, you know?
Yeah, and you can't really, you don't end up, if you miss one rung in the ladder, you may not meet a certain person, or whatever it is. It may not happen. You may not be in the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
For something to happen. So you do need to listen to that stuff. Anyhow, what time is it? Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Alex, you got to rebook Kelly again. It's been a really fun conversation.
You want me to bring you some more scary pictures?
Yeah, no, I got to go take the garbage out.
Dad, did you hear that? Is there something at the door?
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know what you should do is make a picture of that, and then put it at his place setting tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks.
Just
Thanks.
as a thing of love.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know. Yes, but it is true. That is exactly what the kid looked like with those teeth.
Oh my gosh, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's
Yes,
crazy.
that's not blown up into. That's what he looked like, and
Oh.
it was the point where he raised his head and grimaced. That was the point where I had a half hour of being a counselor to bring my coworker down to earth because she could not even begin
Yeah.
to do her job after that. And think about the horse. I mean, has anyone ever counseled the horse after that, for God's sakes? I
No.
wonder. So
No,
yeah.
no.
Yeah,
Well,
and you never know who's walking beside us. Let's
yeah,
put it to
no,
you that way.
that's true. Well, I hope someone's walking beside me tonight. Anyhow, so what is the name of your? Okay, here's the books up.
So my these are my 3 right now. They're showing 3 of my most popular books. My most current being Haunted Life, but all of them have my experiences in there, and so they do very well. And Paranormal Encounters Podcast Series is my podcast, and Disembodied Voices on Paraflix is my TV talk show where I interview everybody. So it's a good life for me right now. I'm actually having a good time.
Well, that's great. No, it's been a pleasure to have you. And Alex put up her links in the description, as I know you will. I'm going to leave everybody on this note. Flat Rockland says, just think, Alex, if Ben Franklin had his way, we'd all be eating eagles tomorrow.
Oh, yuck.
So anyhow, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. You have a great Thanksgiving,
Yeah,
Kelly.
thanks again, Kelly.
Thanks, Alex. We'll see you tomorrow. And everybody, good night. You guys are just absolutely awesome. And we love you all. And we will see you next Wednesday.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Call you up in the middle of the night. Been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head on home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I'll pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back home to you again. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, then I'll find my way back home to you again.